And hello, hello, hello. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you find yourself. Hey, man, this is Dr. Dwain Woode, and I am doing a special stream. I've been talking about the end of the year. I've been talking about Q4, right? That's what we're in right now, October Q4, as we get into the final stages, the final months, the final days of the new year. And there's so much that can happen in Q4. There are things that I have and you have thought about and wanted to do at the beginning of the year, and those things may have not happened the way we wanted them to happen. We may have put them on the shelf. They're collecting some dust, and we think that I think. You think, I think, we think that the end of the year, oh, I'm not going to do that anymore, right? I'll just wait till next year. But I want you to know that there is power in Q4. There is the ability to succeed in the final quarter. There is the ability to actually surpass what we thought and wanted to do. In fact, a lot of companies, right, they dig in Q4, right? This is when they pull out the stops because they're trying to meet their quota, they're trying to meet their projections, they're trying to do the things that they've promised the shareholders, the investors, and they pull out the stops. They throw budgets at the fourth quarter because the fourth quarter really sets the stage for next year. Okay, so as I'm looking back and as you're looking back, it is so important to not say, okay, I only have 3 months left. Well, it's 3 months, y'all. That's a lot of time. Or I can't do it this year. Yes, you can. Or I'm going to wait till next year. Well, if you start now, if you go back and you pull those things off the shelf, if you go back and dust those things out, take those plans out again, redouble your effort, even if you have been going, right? And some of us have been humping it, right? And we're starting to get a little tired maybe, and this is not the time for that. So boom, right? We got to get in there and we've got to do the things we need to do to finish, right? So we're going to look back over this past year and say, okay, what can we get done? What can we finish as we move into the last 3 months of this year, the Q4? And then what are we planning to do for 2024, y'all? That's it, right? Because we're moving forward. Next year, we're going to be better than we were this year. And the year after that, we're going to be better than we were next year. So as we get into the new year, the things that we're going to be successful with for next year start this year. They start during this quarter. Well, the thing that I'm going to be doing here is I have set up a time for work, right? I have my day job. I go to the office. I see patients all day. I come in, and then I do things here in this space for my online presence, for the things that I do to bring value to my audience, the things I do to bring value to my clients, the things I do to bring value to even the patients that I see on a daily basis, because as I'm in this space, I'm also learning and I'm keeping up to date on the things that I need to do for those folks that I see in the office on a daily basis. So what I've done is on my blog, I wrote a blog on time blocking, and that's something that I have used over this past year. And I am going to have some dedicated time when I come on, and I am just going to do my work in this space while we work together, while you watch, while you're able to see me doing the things that I do on a daily basis as I prepare for whether I'm preparing for a show, whether I'm writing a blog, whether I'm doing my podcast, whether I am doing a short, editing some of the things that I do to put out that you guys have seen me do over the course of this past year. And so, I'll show you from time to time, maybe some screenshots of what I'm doing. I'm going to put a behind the scenes view so that you can be there. If you're here, you can go ahead and you can comment. You can say, hey, I'm here. Hey, I see you. And we can talk a little bit. I know it's late, so some of you may be going to bed. Some of you may just be waking up, and there are probably some of you that are in the middle of your day, end of your day, wherever you may find yourself. I'll be here in this space, and I'll be working. So shout out to me. I'm here. This will be muted, so I may play some music in the background, but for the most part, I'll be working, and you'll get to see me do the things that I do. Okay, so that's where I am. And I don't know, what kind of music do I have? Let me see. What music do I have down here? But anyway, that's the plan. And we'll go from there. All right. So I'm going to put it behind the scenes. I guess first let me find some music. What music do you guys want to listen to? I got some. Not sure if these are. Yeah, actually, why don't I do this? I think this should be okay on all the platforms. Yeah, there we go. So I'll play some music in the background. You guys will get to listen. Right. And then we'll go from there. So let's see, what kind of music do you want? Let's see if we got some jazz. I'm gonna turn it down first before What do you think of that? It's not work music, right? How about that? Like that? I hope you can hear it. Can you? If you're out there, just drop me a note. Hey Claudio, hey man, how you doing? I am just doing some work time here. Hey Claudio, hey man, how you doing? And how you doing? Just doing some work time here. Doing some work time. Hey Claudio, hey man, how you doing? Just doing some work time here. Doing some work time. Hey Claudio. Okay. So yeah, so don't do that. Don't do that. But yeah, just spending some time. Yeah, so don't do that. Don't do that. Okay. All right. So that should be better now. Ooh, yeah, 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 yeah. I guess I'll go ahead and put my. All right, there we go. So hopefully now that doesn't cause a problem for me. Okay, there we go. All right. So yeah, so I've blocked off some time and I am working, doing some stuff. I just finished my live stream earlier this evening. And so one of the things that I need to do is I need to edit that into what I usually do is I edit it as part of my podcast. And I use, let's see, let's bring this over here. I use DaVinci Resolve for it. And so let's see if we can go ahead and get that done. And let me go ahead. I'm gonna share my screen. So you should see when I do this one. Yeah, there we go. And so anyway, so uh, this is the show that I just did, and it's in DaVinci. I've already pulled it in, and what I typically do is I chop off the front of that, and then I go all the way to the end. And I figure out where the end of the show is, and that's usually right about here. You could see that trailing off right there. And I cut that off. And I don't know if you guys can hear. I'm going to try to mute this so you don't get the. I don't want you to. I don't want you to hear. Not that I don't want you to hear, but I don't want it to cause an issue. So let me do this real quick. Ah, okay. So you should, yeah, you shouldn't hear it. Get my windows back where they need to be. Okay, there we go. Yeah. So I'm hoping that you guys don't hear. Um, so I cut that part off. Right. So that's at the end, and then I kind of go back through. Okay, so I do that, and next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to. You saw how we were having that clipping, so I pull that back. So I typically go through. I typically go through the show, and there are places in the show where I may be bantering or talking with the audience that wouldn't make sense for the audio part of or the podcast, the audio, and so I will go through and I'll clip those out. Um, let's see. I'm going to go back to the beginning. All right, so right about here is where I finish the introduction to the episode, and I start talking about where we are. Uh, I'm welcoming people to the show. Yes. Okay, and here's where I get back to the main topic for tonight. So what I do is I go through, and you see me cutting from here to here. So I'm going to cut that part off, right? And so now I go from my introduction to actually start talking about the topic. And I do that until I start to see some comments. And I kind of know where the comments are coming in. So right about here. So I'm gonna actually leave that in because a lot of the conversation that was there about that question are part of the show. And so then I go back and I find where the comments, and I spent several minutes here talking back and forth. Okay. And so I'm going to cut this part off. And this comment was actually okay. So go ahead and cut there again. So go ahead and cut that part out. Cut right there. Okay, so that's kind of the end of it, and that's a quick run through. I'm going to go back and do some more things, but one of the things I do is I'm going to open up one of my old, and there's probably an easier way to do this, but this is the way that I do it. So I'm going to open up one of my shows from last week, and that's over here somewhere. Okay, there it is. Let's see. So I'll go back to September, and I'm gonna find one of the podcasts, or the podcast I did last week. And here at the end of that podcast, I have my outro that I normally do. So I'm gonna go ahead and copy all of that. And then I'm going to go back to the one I was just in. Which was October. And that's this guy right here. Oops, nope, wrong one. Actually, I probably could have stayed in this one because I think that yeah, this one, decoding labels. And I'm gonna come here and I'm just gonna drop that in, and it's there, but you can't see it. There it is. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and level that with the current. So I'm going to go from here. So let's notice what happened. I went from here. See that? Right. And then I also have over here at the beginning, remember where I actually cut it right there? And let me hop over and see if there's anybody over here on Restream chat. Okay, yeah. Let me come back over here for a second. All right. So remember where I actually cut. And I'm going to do this guy. Here we go. Okay. And so I also have a kind of intro. So let's go ahead and let's pop that over here. And I'm actually going to go to, I think it's actually in this one. Go back to September. And then grab that one. Like I said, there could be a better way to do this. And just grab that clip right there and go back to I can have it somewhere in a clip and just pull them in. And so I'm going to go back to the one I was just in October, decoding. And then right where that is, I'm going to go ahead and pop that down. And just open this up so you can, okay, actually, what I need to do is I need to paste it in place. Okay, and so essentially that's done. I can go in and clean it up further, and then so I'm now going to render this out, and what I need is just the audio. So as soon as that wheel stops spinning, because it's just processing some stuff now, as soon as that's done, I'm going to go ahead and select just the audio because that's all I need, and I'm going to say add to queue, and I'm going to name it, I think my my toolbar or my text box is somewhere else because I'm sharing this and I think it popped up somewhere. So let me try. Let me do one thing. There it is. It's on the screen over there. And I'm just going to name it Decoding food labels podcast. So what I do is whatever it is, I name it with a capital, and you'll see podcast down here, shorter down here. So go ahead and do that, and go ahead and say save, and then I can hit render, and that will go ahead and it'll start processing. Yeah, go ahead and start processing. So anyway, so that's kind of a thumbnail version of what I do in terms of creating the podcast. And so that's now going to play in the background. Now, what I should have done, which I do need to do for tomorrow, because the podcast doesn't come out until Friday, right? So I go live on Mondays, and then that podcast comes out on Friday after I've edited it. But what I do is for Tuesday, so Monday I do the live. Tuesday I take a segment of the show, and I put that out as a shorter version. When I say shorter, probably I take a 5 to 7 minute clip of the show, and then I post that as a separate video on YouTube. So if I go over here, let's see, let's show you. Let's see, one of these, computer, iPad, there we go. Let's see. For some reason, my Stream Deck is not working. All right. Hopefully, you guys can still see me. You know what? I'm rendering this, and so I think everything is slowed down. That's probably not something to do on air, right? So I'm gonna stop it. Yeah, let's do that. All right, so note to self. Right, note to self, don't render while you're live. All right, okay, so there we go. So my throughput, my waves, and everything, they've come back, and they were screaming. It was up in the red just now. So anyway, so this is okay. So let's go back now. Now all the buttons I pressed, are now showing up. So let's see if I can get back to the one I wanted to show you. Well, I could show it to you. Well, let me see. Yeah, I could show it to you here. So hopefully I can, without causing a problem. Scroll into, let's see, maybe I can do it this one. Okay, there we are. So if I go to videos, right, so these videos that you see there are clips from my show. So each of those is a 5 to 7 minute clip. There's one I did, actually I said 5 to 7, actually 3 to 4 minutes to 7 to 10 minutes, right? So all of these are 5, 3 minutes, and all of these are from the main show that I did that I just clipped out. And so anyway, so I do that that night that I do the show. I do the clip for Wednesday, and then on Friday the podcast comes out, which is a edited version of the show that I did on Monday. And then between then, I do shorts and I do a blog that may or may not be related to the topic. Sometimes I'll do a blog that's slightly related or something that enhances the topic that I did on Monday. Or maybe I will do a blog on a tool that helps the person or helps the viewers, helps the audience to solidify the concept that we did on the Monday show. So that's kind of the week, kind of how I have the week laid out. And in the process of doing that, in the middle of doing that, I'm also working, for instance, this past couple of months, I've been working on redesigning my website. And so that finally got finished. So that's one that can come off as I do other things. So basically that's the flow for the week. There's some other things in there that I do, and I may come back and do a separate show on that. Okay. So anyway, so I didn't intend to show you the whole editing of that. It was supposed to be just a work. It's supposed to be just a work time. All right. So here's a perfect example. Right. Here's a perfect example of what sometimes happens if we're not careful. So I've blocked time to do some other things, and I did have in my list for this hour doing the podcast. Okay, it would have been a lot faster to do it without showing you, but I decided to go ahead and show you that process. So that took longer. So sometimes when if you're not careful in the process of doing the work, you can get sidetracked with things that seem to be related to the work itself, but that can cause delay or cause you to have less time to do the thing because you're busy doing other stuff. So, for example, you get there and say you have to do a talk, and you're working on a PowerPoint, and the PowerPoint needs some graphics. So instead of working on the meat of the PowerPoint, you spend a half an hour trying to get the graphic just right for one slide. So that's doing work. It's doing part of what you need, but you could have gotten the bulk of the PowerPoint done, and then now going back and fill in the graphics. And so what I try to do when I'm doing something like that, I will do the talk. Or at least that's what I'm getting. That's what I try to do most often. I will do the talk, and then I'll go back and add my graphics in. Okay? All right. So having said that, I've got, about another 14 minutes or so, and I'm going to go ahead and hit the mute, put you on the behind the scenes, and get some other things done. All right? Cool. And my Stream Deck is still very, very slow. I think that's because of all the stuff I was doing here. It doesn't like it. Okay, here's the mute. I'll keep working. All right. So it is 1 hour, and as promised, I'm gonna stop here. I've got some more work to do, but I'm gonna let you guys go. Thank you for hanging out with me, and I will see you at our next. I'll pop these up. I'm working on an actual schedule so that you'll know when I'm gonna show up. But for now, this is what we got, y'all. Thank you for being here. See you next time. And remember, our goal is as we move through the days and weeks and these months of Q4 is that we are making a press to maybe set some things in place, some things that we want to do for the new year, some new habits. We're doing an evaluation, and then we're going to do a show where I sit down and go through an evaluation of the year 2023, see where we are, what we've done, the things we've achieved, what do we still have left to do, and then what are we projecting to do in the new year. All right, so that's coming, so keep an eye out. Tomorrow, by the way, and let me pop over there. Let's see. I'm going to be on a show with with an amazing creator. Let me start there. An amazing creator who is doing a lot of great things for the community. This is JP High Tech. So I'm going to be on his show. Let me pull over. Let's see, where am I? I'll be on his show tomorrow talking about success, right? The triple E, the secret. We're going to give you the secret sauce to success. You want to be there. And let me pull that up. Okay, where are you, JP? Where are you? And so we're going to be on his show tomorrow. Make sure that you are there. And as soon as I get it, I can do that. Great. All right. You know, with all what I was trying to do, everything is slow. So I'm trying to pull it up, and it's taking its time. But that's okay. We're gonna get there. All right, so let's go ahead and pull that up, and then I'm gonna try to go to that screen. Hopefully, it won't cause a problem. There we go. Let's pop that up. Okay, so I will be on his show tomorrow. So make sure that you are in place, y'all. Okay, the triple E formula for success is what we're talking about tomorrow. And just so excited to be able to join him, to be able to be on this season, right? So this season number 5 of his show, and boom, I get to be one of the people in the lineup, and this also fits right into this idea of finishing the year, finishing strong, Q4, getting out, meeting people, right? What are you doing? What are you going to be doing in the new year? And how can you begin working on that here in the last quarter of this year? Okay? Anyway, so this is Dr. Dwain Woode, y'all. As I say, that's Woode with an E. The E stands for endocrinology. Here on the channel, I educate, I empower, and I encourage you to take charge of your health, your life, avoid complications, go to the next level, and create the life you've always wanted. I will see you at our next event. Bye-bye.